Delighted to be joined by Roger Chapman for our One Greenway, One Iron chat. Roger, thanks for joining us, first of all, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Look, we are all very excited about the One Greenway Invitational coming up at the beginning of February. You played in it last year. Tell me how much you enjoyed the few days in the Algarve.
It was great. I mean, I've got a lot of happy memories of Quinta del Lago. Goes back to 1981 tour school. So it was good it's always good to catch up with the boys on tour. And it was sort of a precursor for Mauritius. So we went from Quinta del Lago to Mauritius for the tournament there.
Tell me about the field. It's incredible, really, the raft of players that teed up there. Another quality field will be assembled in a few weeks' time. It's pretty staggering, though, isn't it? Obviously, you see a lot of the guys on a regular basis, but the lineup is impressive.
The lineup is impressive. I mean, when I got there, I hadn't seen who was playing, and then all of a sudden you see Angel Jimenez and Monty and everybody. You think, well, this is quite a big do. And then all of a sudden, you're staying in the hotel and you see more and more people, and the amateurs that come through. I played with Graham Souness last day last year. What a nice man he was, really, and loves his golf. So it's great going out there and meeting people. And my partner for the first 2 days was Mario Gonzalez, whose brother Jaime Gonzalez played on our tour. He won the TPC championship in the mid-80s. So, you don't know who you're going to bump into.
Happy memories for you said, from Quinta, from the Algarve, from Portugal. Talk to me about some of your special memories over the years from that part of the world.
Oh, well, 1981 was the tour school. And I was rooming with Ronan Rafferty, who unfortunately missed his card. I got my card. I finished second to the late Gordon Brown Jr. And I remember playing in the third round. We were quite ahead of the field, and I played with a guy called Richard Masters and Gordon Brown Jr. And after 6 holes, I was 4 under. Jr. was 2 under, and we were streets ahead. And we were having a little bit of fun on the course. And Richard Masters turned around. He says, "Hey lads, what are you doing? It's the tour school. You can't mess around." Gordon finished first. I finished second, and I think Richard got his card as well. So that was good.
Happy days. So what is it about, for so many people? I've got a great affinity with Portugal. From a personal perspective, it almost feels like a second home turning up for the people, and just special memories. From a playing perspective, obviously being there, you've had success, you've enjoyed playing there over the years, but what is it about that area, that region, the Algarve, Quinta, Portugal, that you particularly love?
Well, I think first of all it's the golf courses. They're really good. The weather's fantastic, and the people that work at the golf courses, they're so friendly. And you go to restaurants at night, and everybody is much more friendly, much more relaxed than other countries. And it's always great to go there. And I've got a friend who owns a villa there, and there's 8 of us go on a golfing trip in May. Ronan Rafferty, myself, and 6 amateurs, and we go and play Laringel, Quinta, North, South, Villamore. So there's so much to do down there if you're a golfer. And as I said, the weather is always fantastic, and the people are great.
So the excitement for this year's event, the One Greenway Invitational, very much looking forward to it. Yeah,
I was out practicing yesterday.
Very good.
Maybe not today in this weather, but I'm trying to gear up for the February the 1st, when my wife and I go out there, and then we go to Morocco the week after. So the season's going to start early this year.
Absolutely. How was last year for you then, Roger? Talk to me about some of the highs and lows from another year on tour.
Lows. Well, it wasn't a great year, to be honest. I went to Jersey. Didn't feel great there. We had a really bad sore throat. Pulled out of the following tournament in Trevose. Went to the US Senior Open. came back, got COVID, so then I missed another couple of tournaments because I couldn't travel. So it's just been a stop-start year, and it's 2022. I'm quite glad to get over and done with.
You visit some nice spots though, don't you? You sort of end of the year for the Legends Tour. I mean, Seychelles, Mauritius. It's not a bad life, is it?
Oh, it's great. And what other sport would you be doing? You know, I'm 63 or 64 in May this year, and what other sport can you still be competing at a reasonable level at my age? So very fortunate that I chose golf, and that golf chose me, really.
What about the standard, would you say, now on the PGA Tour Champions and the Legends Tour? How high is it?
It's very good. And sort of coming to the end of my career, you notice how when, you know, guys come on, they're 50 and they're hitting it so much further than you. And, you know, people like Simon Carnes just come on, and he's playing really nicely. He's playing some good golf, and you play with him, you think, God, you know, I was like this, you know, when I was 50. So it's a role reversal now, and I'm watching the good younger players come on tour and seeing how they do, and it's all good fun. It's all good fun.
Look at sort of the hopes and aspirations going forward the next couple of years. Everything you've achieved in your career to date. Golfers are always working on something. They're always striving to get better. All perfectionists. You're a crazy breed. What are you working on? What are some of your particular goals for 2023?
Well, obviously, first one is to win. I'd like to, you know, hopefully after May the 1st, if I can win, that's, you know, winning at 64 years old, that would be a real sort of feather in my cap. But I just want to be able to compete at a good level, be in contention for tournaments. And I think, you know, once that sort of wanes and you're not in contention, that's why I sort of quit the main tour, the DP World Tour, when I was about 46, 47, because I couldn't really compete with the 20, 21, 22-year-olds coming on tour. So firstly, you've got to enjoy it. And look, as I said, 2022 wasn't very good. Didn't enjoy it very much, but the enthusiasm is still there. Still want to do well. And, you know, if I can win one, that would be great. But I'd just like to be in contention, you know, for the next couple of years, and then see how and where we go from there.
You mentioned practicing yesterday. How does a typical week look for you now, Roger? talk us through how, you know, because it is a great life. You've had a great career. You still enjoy it. The hunger's still there, but the motivation level, what goes into still a week practicing and getting ready for an upcoming tournament?
Well, you certainly don't practice as much. I mean, I remember, you know, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and practicing before I went to school. Those days are gone. And if I'm sort of practicing 3, 4, possibly 5 times a week, then, you know, that's 5 times a week would be a busy week for me. But we've now moved down into the country, down in Hampshire. There seems to be more to my life than, you know, going onto the range, hitting golf balls, going for walks along the river, etc. So it's a lot less frantic, I must admit. There's a lot less travel. I do not enjoy travel at the moment. I suppose anybody does, and having to be there 3 hours before your flight. And I remember when I first started, I could get to Heathrow an hour before the flight went, and I'd still be in plenty of time. So travel has taken the edge off everything.
Yeah, and you mentioned your trip to Kinta. Would you try and get out to the Algarve a couple of times a year, normally in a typical year, to practice and just enjoy a bit of nice weather?
Yes, as I say, we go with my friends in May, mid-May. We always go. And then we, you know, with the tournaments there, and as I say, the weather's great. You can practice. You can go and practice 6 o'clock in the morning, or you can go and practice at 4 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock at night. It depends how you feel, but the weather is always good, so you'll be practicing all the time if you wanted to be.
Definitely. Roger, let's go back to 2012. It was a standout year for you, wasn't it? Those 2 senior majors. Looking back at it now, and it's probably easier with a bit of time to reflect, and as you've talked a lot about this the last few years, What was the real key, do you feel, to the success that year? Golfers talk about things clicking, practice had gone well, everything just worked, everything just came together. Looking back now, what was the real key to success that year?
Well, it's difficult to say because I only had 3 rounds of competitive golf before the USPGA in end of May. I played in Mallorca, but I was swinging well. The driver was going really well, and I got to Harbour Shores, and my coach Gavin Christie was there with me, and we were just working on specifics, and it just clicked. I mean, I think I was like 91% in fairways hit and 87% of greens. So, and I putted half decent for a change. So, at one stage I had a 9-shot lead with 10 holes to go. So I thought, even I can't mess this one up. But no, it was one of those weeks that everything just clicked. And once I got over the line, I thought, oh my God, what have I just done? It didn't really sink in until I got home, and people started to, well, you're the first English person to win the USPGA, and I thought, wow, this, all of a sudden it did hit me then.
Did it? So it wasn't really till you got back and the reaction came in. At the time, you didn't really register.
Well, I mean,
obviously the win had, but the magnitude of the achievement.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the win. I mean, I was emotional because my old coach George Wilder, he'd passed away in 2010, and he'd been seeing over me since I was a 13-year-old. So he never got to see, the fruition of all his work. And as I say, Gavin Christie took over the mantle and didn't really change much. Changed my thought processes a bit and everything, and I just handled everything really well. But I was superstitious. I went to the same restaurant every night, sat at the same table, read my book. I did exactly the same every week, every day. I wore one pair of black shoes for the week. I'd taken a couple of other pairs with me, and I just wasn't going to change anything.
Same underpants.
Well, I know. No.
But same restaurant every night, same meal, and yeah. So
No,
what was the lucky meal?
Different meals, but I sat at the same table, and the people cottoned on to who I was, and then they made a fuss of me, and then I went back for a press do for the following year's tournament, and we went back to the restaurant, and they gave me a voucher. It was free food for life. So, yeah, it was really nice because I gave them so much publicity, and they said, "Oh, baby, Grammy," So that was really good.
Fantastic. But to pick up 2 majors in a year, what did getting over the line for your first then? Obviously the confidence was sky high, but what did it do for you internally? Just that belief system that when you were in that position again, to be able to know that you've been there and done it.
Yeah, it was incredible, and even my wife, she said, "You're walking taller, you're walking more confident." So she saw a difference in me. And then at the US Open at Indian Wood, I got off to a really bad start, but never panicked. I was 2 over after 4, managed to score 68, which was 2 under. So I came back strongly. And then with a round to go, with the field, I was lying second. We were 4 shots behind Bernard Lang. And we thought, well, people were saying, "Oh, we can't catch him. But I secretly went to bed last night. Because he shot 64 the previous day and holed everything. I said to Kathy, he's not going to do that again.
No.
And I said to her, I'm going to have him. I'm going to get him. She said, okay, yeah. And he double bogeyed the second, I birdied the second. All of a sudden, that 4-shot lead was 1 shot, and I thought, right, game on. And I played great, shot 66, and people were saying, it was a really windy day, and I promise you, I never noticed the wind.
Honestly?
People were saying, well, it was so windy. I said,
was it?
Yeah, I was so focused. It was incredible. And if you could bottle that up every week, you'd make a fortune. Yeah.
So again, what that mental state?
The mental state was.
How did you find yourself in that position?
Well, obviously winning the previous I think it was 50 days or something with the previous PGA. It was just inbuilt confidence. It was, I wouldn't call it arrogance, but it was something that you can't really explain, that much. But it was just there. There was an aura about me, or I felt an aura around me, that I was invincible.
It's funny, isn't it? I remember talking to Henrik Stenson when he won at Troon, and he said there was just something about that week. I just felt it was my week. Matt Fitzpatrick talked about it at Brookline. Obviously, he'd had success there as an amateur. But some weeks, you just have that feeling, don't you?
Yeah.
From talking to pros for years, some weeks you just have that feeling it's going to be your week.
Yeah, I mean, when I won for the first time down in Brazil, and I beat Podrick Harrington in a playoff, I just felt a similar feeling. This is going to be a good week. And my lucky number 17, and that in Brazil, I got locker number 17. So it just, I thought, here we go. I just kept everything quiet. I just didn't do any, didn't say anything to anybody. People said, "Oh, do you like the course?" I said, "Yes, it's nice. I like it." Yeah. People said, "Well, I don't like this." And I thought, well, okay, you had those thoughts. I've got good thoughts.
Has the talk and conversation, does even just reliving it now, talking to me and doing sort of an interview such as this, does it not get you excited and think, come on, you start the new year, a whole hope of possibilities ahead, and I'd like a bit of that again this year? Absolutely,
yeah. You just feel, the goosebumps talking to you about it, and reminiscing of 10 years ago, 11, 13 now, really. It's great looking back, and it does get the juices, although I'm looking out the window now, it's blowing again, it's pouring the rain. So.
Well, let's hope the weather's better for the One Greenway Invitational. Just a quick word on the competitive side of it. Obviously, it's a great week, it's a fun week, it's a celebration of golf, if you like, but when you turn up there as a competitive athlete, the juices will flow, won't they? You'll be ready to compete once again.
Of course it is. It's always there. I mean, no matter whether it's a 1 day pram, 2 day pram, or a 4-day tournament, but that's the thing with senior golf now. You're more relaxed after the round, and you'll have a glass of wine with Miguel Angel Jimenez. Maybe not a cigar, but you'll have a glass of wine with him and chat around with people. It's much more relaxed in the evening, whereby on the main tour they're all in bed by 9 o'clock, and with their bottles of water and been to the gym, etc. I don't know what gym is these days, but it's much more relaxed. But when you get on the first tee and the gun goes, then you want to beat the hell out of each other.
Exactly. Look, just to finish off a word, it's nice to get players' perspective on how they see, I guess, the next year in professional golf. Big year with the Ryder Cup, the Solheim Cup, and obviously the majors. Golf right now is in a very interesting place. For you, though, from let's talk Ryder Cup very quickly first of all. It is interesting, the dynamic now between the two sides. US very strong, but it's a changing of the guard. The European team have some great young talent coming through. After the last Ryder Cup, people would say, yeah, potentially the US could really dominate now for the next few editions. Do you think the last 6 months have maybe changed that a bit from a European perspective? Do you think our team is going to be stronger than probably many thought 6-12 months ago?
I think so. As you said, it is changing of the guard. We're in a transitional period, I think, with the Ryder Cup on our side, as probably the Americans were, in the previous years. They seem to have got their togetherness together. They seem to be more of a team, and I think they've learnt a lot from the European side about that. This court ruling in February will be interesting, but I don't think that will have any aspect on the team, for the European team. I think a lot of the guys that are fighting this court order probably won't be in the side anyway. That is my opinion. But I think we've got a stronger team than people. We'll have a stronger team than people will realise. You've got youngsters in there that youngsters aren't frightened anymore. They're not frightened reputations or who they're going to play against. Oh, I'm playing Tiger. You know, Tiger's 3 up already. They don't think like that. So I think it will be a fantastic Ryder Cup, and I think we've got a good chance.
Definitely, well said. And who do you think, when we're looking at the majors next year, we're looking at the strength of European golf? Victor Hovland had a great year last year. McIlroy, obviously, you know, John Rahm. Who for you is, which European player do you think is going to be stand out in 23?
I think Rory is. I think Rory, he's got such a mature head on his shoulders now. He's got his sort of 100 yards in, dialed in. He drives the ball well. I mean, I think he's got the best swing that I've ever seen. And I think he will be in the major shout. I think he will win 1, maybe 2 this year.
Let's hope so. Roger Chapman, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us on our One Greenway, One Iron chat. Very much looking forward to seeing you in the Algarve beginning of February. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks. Bye.